Hello, my name is Scott Phillips and this is number 3 in my video blog. I guess at some point I'm going to quit telling you what number it is, but it's all kind of new to me. I'm still not real comfortable looking at a camera, but you know, I've gotten some little bit of feedback. A few people have viewed it, and I have learned in my life that if you do something consistently and you do it with sincerity and you do it with pure motives, that it has a way of actually being a blessing to people. And I'm very intrigued with this whole idea of the personalization of media. The world is changing in such a rapid way. I was reading a book by Thomas Friedman, and it's called "The World is Flat." And he basically starts out in the book talking about how Christopher Columbus left his home to find a route to India, and in his way to India he found that the world was not flat but round. And recently the writer of the book was on his way to India, and when he got to India he realized that the world was no longer round but it was flat. And the whole point is that because of transportation, because of technology, because of the changing ideas within our world culture, that things are narrowing down, and that things are so very personal and so very individual. I read a book, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. It's by Stephen Covey. He wrote a book about 10-15 years ago called The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. And then recently he wrote a book about the 8th habit. And in that book it also brings about this thought of the individualization of corporations, and how that everything is becoming more of an individualistic concept. And I think that you know, it's been something I have spent a lot of time thinking about. If you read religious literature and you know, been involved in planning a church, you realize that the way people think is something that is hard to get your hands around. But I think that this kind of brings us to the point that people feel like they are an entity unto themselves, and this is good or bad. It's just the way that the world is, and people feel a need to matter, not just to be a part of a whole or of a group or a segment or a statistic, but they want to feel like they individually have a voice and they individually matter. And the way to communicate to people that have that mindset is to understand that and deal with that. And I find this individualistic paradigm is really, you see it also in Scripture. You see that in the beginning it started as one God dealing with one man and one woman, and it was the Lord and Adam and Eve. It's a very personal, intimate thing. And as time progressed, it became, you know, God was not God, but it was a religion, it was a form, it was rituals, it was things that you did to appease the anger and appease the judgment. And people began to do things that, you know, you wonder really what their thought process was. And if you look at the history of Israel, that you could tell that they really didn't understand the personal nature of God. And then in the New Testament we find that the one God came down as one man and walked among men, and he preached and he ministered and he healed and he helped people by the individuals. You know, he spoke to the masses, but the incredible concepts of ministry that Jesus communicated were those individual moments: the woman at the well, the little boy with the lunch, blind Bartimaeus, Lazarus, Zacchaeus, Peter, John. It was these individual encounters that we see a picture of not a God that just died to save the world, or to feel some need for the sin consequence, but a God that really we can appreciate in such a powerful way when we understand that He doesn't just love all humanity, but He loves me. He knows what I need. He knows what I'm going through. And I think that we see that there is an ability maybe to communicate that individualistic concept of God in an even more powerful way today. It's not about mass media, mass mailing, mass message, but putting a face with what it is and who it is and why it is. There is a reason. And a lot of times people can get disillusioned with faith and church, and because you see it all as just a big sham, and a big effort to communicate and give forth this feeling, this opinion, this overall message that we're trying to send to the world, when really and truly it's about connecting to people. I was watching a tribute on YouTube to Steve Irwin that died here a few days ago, and on there's a video where he is saying why he does what he does, and he basically says, I bring the camera so that the people, the viewers, the children, could see up close and personal and see the animals. And he says something that was so powerful. He said, people say things that they love. And it occurred to me that if the church, if believers could ever truly see that the world that Jesus died for is made up of individual faces, of individual needs, and rather than putting forth this big image of the world being saved, the masses of people that need to be reached, and be able to put a face on it, the face of your neighbor, the face of your coworker, the face of faces that you know their names. They are individuals. And we cannot save the world until we truly have a vision of the individual that we know, that we love, that the Lord wants to save. It's up to me. It's not up to the church. It's not up to the organization. It's up to me to accept my personal responsibility, to accept my personal grace, to accept my personal opportunity to touch another person, another individual. And we can do that through email, not just mass email, personal email. We can use that through phone calls and personal visits, and try to connect to the individual, because everybody's like me and you. We all have things we love, and we all have things we like, and we have things we don't like. If we can connect as an individual to another individual, we can introduce them to the holy, one individual God that originally created us as one and continues to love us as one, our feelings, our needs. And that's kind of what I've been thinking about. I hope you have a great day. Visit my website, newbirth.us. God bless you.